Hello students, welcome to Sacred Heart High School. Today we are going to study in Science-2, Chapter 15, Life Processes in Living Organisms, Part 4. Today we are going to study about the human nervous system. The human nervous system is divided into following three parts. The first one, central nervous system, second, peripheral nervous system, and the third, autonomic nervous system. Now we are going to study about the first nervous system, that is central nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The organization of the brain is extremely delicate and highly evolved. The brain is the main controlling part of the nervous system and it is safely located in the cranial cavity. The spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column. In the space between the delicate central nervous system and its bony covering are the protective layers called the meninges. Cavities present in various parts of the brain are called ventricles, whereas the long tubular cavity of the spinal cord is called the central canal. The ventricles, central canal, and spaces between the meninges are filled with cerebrospinal fluid, and this fluid supplies nutrients to the central nervous system and protects it from the shock. So, the brain of an adult human weighs about 1300 to 1400 grams and consists of approximately 100 billion neurons. Now you can see that the brain is divided into three main parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. Now if you see, the left side of our brain controls the right side of our body and right side of our brain controls left side of the body. In addition, the left side of the brain controls our speech and conversation, writing, logical thinking, science and mathematics, etc. Whereas the right side controls holistic thinking, artistic abilities like art and music, creativity and intuition. Now we shall see the first part of the brain, that is cerebrum. This is largest part of our brain and consists of two cerebral hemispheres. These hemispheres are joined with each other with the help of tough fibers and nerve tracts. The cerebrum occupies 2/3 of the brain, hence it is also called the large brain. Its surface has deep irregular ridges and grooves which are called convolutions. Convolution increases the surface area of the cerebrum and therefore a large number of nerve cells can be accommodated. The second part is cerebellum. This is the smaller part of the brain situated below the cerebrum at the back of the cranial cavity. Its surface shows shallow grooves instead of deep convolutions. The third part is medulla oblongata. This is the hindmost part of the brain. There are two triangular swollen structures called pyramids on the upper side of medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata continues downwards as the spinal cord. Next part is the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a part of the central nervous system and it is held within the vertebral column. It is slightly thick but gradually tapers towards the end. There is a thread-like fibrous structure at its end. It is called the phylum terminate. Now you can see before you a vertebra, for instance cervical vertebra. So the functions of the different parts of the brain: cerebrum, control of voluntary movements, concentration, planning, decision making, memory, intelligence and intellectual activities. Cerebellum, the functions are coordination of voluntary movements, maintaining the body's balance. Medulla oblongata, the functions are control of involuntary activities like the beating of the heart, blood circulation, breathing, sneezing, coughing, salivation, etc. Spinal cord, the functions are conduction of impulses from the skin towards the brain, conduction of impulses from brain to muscles and glands, functions as center of coordination of reflex actions, which we are going to see in the later part. The next nervous system is peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves originating from the central nervous system. These nerves connect the central nervous system with all parts of the body. There are two types. The first type is cranial nerves. Nerves originating from the brain are called cranial nerves. They are associated with various parts in the head, thorax, and abdomen. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. The second type of peripheral nerves are spinal nerves. Nerves originating from the spinal cord are called as spinal nerves. These are associated with the arms, legs, skin, and other parts of the body. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. The third type of nervous system is autonomic nervous system. The autonomous nervous system consists of the nerves of involuntary organs like the heart, lungs, stomach, etc. It is not under the control of our will. Now we shall see a reflex action. What is a reflex action? An immediate and involuntary response given to a stimulus from the environment is called a reflex action. Sometimes we react to an incident without any thinking on our part or control over the reaction. This is a response given to a certain stimulus from the surroundings. In such situations, proper control and coordination is achieved even without intervention of the brain. There are few examples of reflex action. For instance, when light acts as a stimulus, the pupil of the eye changes in size. Sudden jerky withdrawal of hand or leg when pricked by a pin, coughing or sneezing because of irritants in the nasal passages, knees jerk in response to a blow or someone stamping the leg. A reflex action is a way for the body to automatically and rapidly respond to a stimulus to minimize any further damage to the body. It follows the general sequence and does not involve the brain. Here, the efferent or sensory nerve, it carries the stimuli from the site of action to the spinal cord, as you can see. The spinal cord acts as a modulator and changes the impulse from sensory to motor impulse. Motor or efferent nerve fibers carry the motor impulse from the spinal cord to the site of action. So the reflex arc is made, and this is how we withdraw the hand in response to the stimulus. So reflex arc involves receiving stimuli by receptors, transmitting the stimuli through sensory, relay and motor neurons. So most reflexes don't have to travel up to your brain to be processed, which is why they take place so quickly. So a reflex arc starts off with a receptor to your spinal cord where the signals are passed on to a motor neuron. So hence this allows for faster reflex action to occur by activating spinal motor neurons without the delay of routing signals through the brain. Next we shall see chemical control. Control and coordination in our body is also brought about with the help of certain chemical substances called hormones. Hormones are secreted by endocrine glands. These glands are also called ductless glands because these glands do not have any arrangement of their own to either store or carry their secretions. Hence, as soon as the hormones are produced, they are directly released into the blood circulation. Thus, though these endocrine glands are present at specific locations in our body, their secretions reach all parts of the body via blood. Endocrine glands, along with the nervous system, are responsible for the control and coordination in our body. These two systems help each other to control and integrate the various activities of the body. A marked difference between these two systems is that nerve impulses are fast but short lived, whereas the action of hormones is very slow but long lasting. So, here you can see the different endocrine glands. For example, hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus, adrenal glands, ovary in females, and testes in males. Now, it is very important that hormones are secreted only in the required quantity, and there is a special mechanism which controls the quantity and timing of hormone secretion. For example, whenever there is an increase in blood glucose level, certain cells in the pancreas get stimulated, and as a response, they release a greater quantity of insulin. For example, now I have hypothalamus gland. It is located above the pituitary gland in the forebrain, as you can see. They secrete hormones which control the activity of the secretory cells of the pituitary gland, and it controls the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, which is located at the base of the brain, the hormones are secreted are like growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, prolactin, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, oxytocin, antidiuretic hormone. The functions are they stimulate growth of bones, stimulates adrenal gland, stimulates thyroid gland, stimulates milk production, controls growth of gonads, control menstrual cycle and ovulations, contracts uterus during parturition, regulates water level in the body. So in similar way, each endocrine gland are having important functions. So hope so you have understood the topic. Thank you, children. We shall meet in the next session with a new topic.